the narrative, it seems like everybody keeps saying like he's as good as gone. He's as good as gone. And I don't understand when people are saying that. Can you explain that more to me? Because as far as me looking up his contract that he's on, he still has a few years. Yes, he's going to have arbitration. Is it because he's a Boris guy? What is the why is that kind of something that people say?
I just think that one, it has to do with the comments he made after in the clubhouse after being eliminated last year. His frustration. You mentioned Boris. That's another thing. And he didn't say it now, and he said the correct answer. It's not up to him; it's up to ownership and management to put the team together, and it's up to him and the rest of his teammates to be in the best shape and be as well prepared as they can for the season, and it's on the players too. And he's right. And but I mean, Scott Boras has come out and said comments about the Mariner organization not being serious about winning. That's the narrative with a lot of Mariner fans, and it's kind of, they don't spend the money, they're cheap, blah, blah, blah. So I think you just kind of start putting two and two together, and it just kind of makes a little sense. Cal's a winner. You can tell that by the way he plays, the drive that he has, the competitiveness, the frustration. You can see when he some of his mannerisms during the game, and then him speaking out, like I mentioned in the dugout. I mean, that's a big deal. So that's kind of where I think it comes from.
Well, as you can see right here on the screen, we are looking at Cal Raleigh's current contract that he's on. This is his last pre-arbitration year. This is the last year you're getting him at a big discount. Then 25, 26, 27 are his 3 arbitrational years. So, I mean, if I get it, and after 2027, he's either going to walk or you're going to trade him in 27. So when people talk about he's as good as gone, that's a lot of time. And let's just even say arbitration too. He's not going to get to his first arbitration and be gone. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, it's been well documented about players who've spoke out too. Cal has spoken out, and I think that's a reason too. He could be traded. It seems to happen quite a bit with players that speak out, going back into the 90s with Jeff Nelson, and then players recently, Paul Sewald, that spoke out. So, I mean, there is a coincidence or lack thereof a coincidence in moves that happen to guys that speak out. You talked about losing Cal. I certainly don't want to. I think he's a gift. Switch hitting catcher that calls a good game, can block. He does it all, and does it for 150 games behind the plate, it seems like.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering why people always say, "Hey, well, he's good as gone." You see that. You see that all the time online. You see that all the time in social media, and it's like he's not going to go anywhere. I don't think this is a guy that you got to worry about going anywhere in 2 or 3 years. And if you are worried about him going in 2 or 3 years, then you're kind of contradicting yourself about this next season. And when you're saying, well, I don't want to think about 2 or 3 years down the road. I want to think about just this season. And as far as him being here this season, he's here. I don't see, and we could save this recording, I don't see the Mariners trading Cal if things go south this season, which they very well can if they don't get more offense. But I feel like he's safe being here. I think Cal is one of those important pillars to the Mariners going forward and to the legacy of the team.
I just gonna say, I feel like, and we've talked about it before, he's one of the untouchables on the team with Julio and him. But then again, this ownership is change their tune on a lot of things. And I've told you before, it's always a trust thing. So I don't know. Could it happen? Couldn't it happen? I will never say no with anything the way this team operates.
And again, there's more of this. If I don't see him sticking around, I don't blame him if he leaves. And it's like he can't leave. He can't leave. The Mariners have to trade him. So there's no leaving. There's no Cal leaving until after the 2027 season.
Well, he can demand a trade.
He can demand a trade.
Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but he could demand one.
Absolutely. Do you see him demanding a trade? Let me ask you. Let me put you on the hot seat here, Hannah. Do you see him right now demanding a trade in the next 3 years?
I don't know, but it would not surprise me. And let's say in a few year, 2 or 3 from today, it would not surprise me. No.
So we're still doing this podcast in 3 years here on the Great Odyssey, because that's where we'll be in 3 years, right? We'll still be doing this podcast for Odyssey.
I don't know where I'm going to be in 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, I know in 3 years I'll be right here on Odyssey. I'm wondering if we can pull this clip up and you're like, I'm going to say Cal Raleigh ain't going anywhere. I'm going to say he's going to he's going to be one of the Mariners. I think that you're going to see get a contract faster than maybe some of the pitchers, maybe some of the other players that you're expecting. I feel like after George Kirby, I think Cal Raleigh is probably the next person that the Mariners, out of the core guys, tries to lock up. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I could see that too, no doubt. I mean, he's a top 5 catcher probably in the league. Hopefully take that next step this year, be an all-star, and just keep grinding and taking steps forward every single year. He's only had, last year was his first full season in the bigs, correct?
Yeah. In 22, he got sent down, came back up. The best return I've can ever remember of any Mariner. He had like a Mike Trout coming back from the minors, kind of ripping back into the major leagues, because a lot of people know this Mike Trout. I live down here in Southern California. I remember he got sent down to the minors, came back up, never turned back. That's what Cal Raleigh's 2022 return felt like. And
so his career is just getting going. I mean, he's a baby in the league now, first full season, and God, he's shown a lot. And he's a good player. It's someone I want to keep around. I mean, we've seen our catchers, who they've been, the Miguel Olivos, since, probably the most famous catcher in Mariner history, Dan Wilson, left, so it's not an easy position to fill that has the skill of Cal that can do it from both sides of the plate and both sides of the ball. So whenever he becomes a free agent or his contract, he's going to be a well-paid player.